The gentleman's time has expired. At this time, the chair would like to recognize the gentleman from California, Mr. LaMalfa, for 5 minutes. Mr. LaMalfa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, once again. And again, panelists, for your testimony and for your time and travel to be here, of course. Following back up with the issue on 5696, and I wanted to drill down on something that you had mentioned in your testimony, Chairwoman Supernaw, that the Quapaw have assumed 21 BIA functions in your manner of doing business, and that the Streamline Act would be number 22, I guess, right?
Correct.
So, what do you believe the holdup is on why this function hasn't already been approved for tribes, with being able to appraise, especially their own land, the land they've had much history on, for example?
Thank you for the question. I think this is, from my own personal perspective, I think it's a holdover from a bit of that paternalistic view, in that I mentioned fair market value previously. I think that much of the federal law was put in place to protect tribal citizens, and I think that intent was good. However, unfortunately, that intent turns negative on us when following the rules basically disincentivizes us from further economic development. That's my own view. That's just an opinion.
Yeah. Well, time is money, and we all get that across all sectors, with waiting for a government to move on permitting, on plan checking or whatever it might be. But in this case here, protecting tribes, I guess, from themselves is what the attitude would be. But you have tribes that are compliant and steeped in the ability to work through the uniform standards of the PAP, right? And so with that stamp of approval, with that education, I guess, on it, there shouldn't be any issue. It's a standard they meet for the appraisals and such, and so it shouldn't be a problem, right?
I don't believe it would be a problem. As a matter of fact, that's kind of our ability to manage the land is fundamental to our ability to do things like monitor the environmental damage that exists on our reservation, as well as to perform our remediation activities. Therefore, I think that, at least for the Quapaw Nation, we more than sufficiently meet the threshold and the expertise and the experience necessary to do this responsibly.
Certainly that firsthand experience and the knowledge of that land like the back of your hand would be great value. It's just putting it into play in a uniform standard, and so this accomplishes all that, and tribes are protected in that the standards are there. So it reaffirms that this is a pretty sensible way to go, a piece of legislation. So we're happy to in this committee to push that along, and so I thank you again on that. Let me turn to Mr. Vredenberg for a moment here too on the ITARA. Since it's come into place in 2016, in order to reaffirm the government's trust responsibilities, you note that only 3 of the management plans have actually been put in place in that 9 years. And so what do you think is the holdup on, is it accessibility to it? Is tribes not maybe aware enough of the tool, and how do we improve upon that?
I think it's a combination of everything you mentioned. I think that an element too is the nature of the demonstration project created uncertainty. It's an undertaking.
For who? For uncertainty for who?
For the tribes that would be preparing an Indian Trust Asset Management Plan. So by making that permanent, I think we'll see many more tribes participate with the confidence that it's a permanent program.
So the concern that there was expiration of ITARA in 10 years, or in whenever they resume or pick that up before 2026, that it may expire, and then they're left holding the bag with an ITAMP that is no longer valid or renewable.
Yes,
Is
sir.
it that? Okay, all right. Well, hopefully we have success in this round of legislation. I appreciate Chairman Hurd for taking that up, so I'll yield back. Thank you.